The assassin's two henchmen have followed Christian to the farm, and are holding the farmer and his wife inside hostage. They have the wife call out to Christian, but he doesn't seem to hear them. Then suddenly, one of the henchmen is shot through the head by a sniper rifle. The other henchman grabs the couple and heads to the car. He then heads to the couple's truck, and Christian shoots the engine to disable it. He runs up to the truck and grabs the henchman. Christian strangles him and asks who hired him. The henchman won't say, but hands over Dana's ID, saying that his instructions were to kill the two of them. Christian kills him and casually waves bye to the farmer and his wife. Christian rushes out in his truck and calls the voice. She tells him to get to his storage unit, hitch up the trailer and get out of town immediately. In her flat effect, she works on setting up a new identity, changing the registration on his car, and killing off the Christian Wolff identity. She advises him not to worry about Dana, as he only has time to save himself. Mary Beth's investigation leads her to a friend at the IRS. He helps her comb through tax returns of accountants with the names of Carl Gauss and Lewis Carroll. Using some filters, they narrow down the list, but the most likely suspects are already dead. She then produces a list of 100 of the most famous mathematicians, believing that the accountant would be using the list as his aliases. They slowly search through the system for the different names. Christian goes to Dana's apartment, afraid for her safety. He sees that she is being followed by somebody through the window but can't enter the building. He gets in through a service entrance and climbs the stairs rapidly to get to her floor. Two delivery men have followed her down her hallway, though she doesn't suspect anything. Two more guards are waiting in the hallway. Christian quickly kills the two guards in the hallway. The two delivery men burst into Dana's apartment, attacking her, but she fights back. She locks herself in the bathroom and tries to escape. Christian enters, killing one of the men and then fighting the other man who has just broken into the bathroom. Dana is shocked to see Christian, who has ruthlessly dispatched the men. Christian takes Dana with him to his storage unit. He instructs her to wait outside, but she enters anyway, finding his cash and valuable paintings and a storage space as weapons. He is annoyed that she came inside to his private space where he is packing up clothes, cash, passports and comic books. She questions how he owns an original Renoir and an original Pollock, which he explains he received as payment. Mary Beth's exhaustive search has not yielded anything so far. On a hunch, they pull up the two accountants who fit her profile: Caucasian male, age 25 to 45, for the last name on the list, Christian Wolff. One declared an income of over $500,000, which tipped the IRS off for an audit, which revealed that he was clean. The other declared an income of $75,000. This accountant's firm is called Z Accounting, which seems suspicious as it's a bad choice for a name when they are listed alphabetically in a phone book. They look up a picture of the street view for the firm, which is in a dingy strip mall with a nail salon, laundromat and Chinese food restaurant. On a hunch, Mary Beth has her friend look up the tax returns on the three neighboring businesses. Z Accounting is listed as the accountant for all three businesses, who have each declared over $400,000 in income. When they try to figure out where the money has gone, they realize that huge charitable contributions have been made to Harbor Neuroscience. Christian takes Dana to a fancy hotel. They talk more about the strange accounts of living robotics. Christian uncovered that $61 million was embezzled but then hidden under different accounts, so it wasn't technically missing. They go up to their room, and Christian paces around the hotel room, muttering something over and over to himself, so Dana asks him to sit with her. They talk, and Christian tells her that he has high-functioning autism, so he has difficulty connecting with people even though he wants to. Dana tells him a story of how she wanted to buy an expensive gown for her high school prom so that she could wow her classmates and feel like she deserved to be special and to belong, forming a connection with Christian. She asks Christian why he brought them to a fancy hotel to hide out, which he deflects by saying the water pressure is good. She starts to lean in and get closer to Christian, when he suddenly sits up and references an old electronics chain. He remembers it because the business owner ran an ingenious scam by stealing money out of the business but then investing it back in it, inflating its value so that its stocks would sell for more money. He realizes this is what living robotics must be doing. Christian sets out to see Lamar's sister, believing her to be behind the plot. As he pulls up to her home, he sees a suspicious man exiting her building. He follows from across the street, and we see that it's the assassin. The assassin seems to know someone is following him, though he never turns and looks. He then quickly pulls out his gun and fires 2 shots at Christian, who ducks behind a car. When he peers out, the assassin is gone. Christian enters the building and finds that Lamar's sister is dead. Mary Beth and Ray are able to track down Christian's home, which he has abandoned. They find high-tech surveillance cameras outside as well as a huge machine gun mounted in his garage. Ray sees the dented thermos in the cupboard and smiles knowingly. After searching the house thoroughly, Mary Beth and Ray sit in the living room and Mary Beth asks why he's so fixated on the accountant. Ray tells Mary Beth that Francis Silverberg used to be the accountant for the Gambino crime family, in addition to other criminal leaders. As Francis was getting older, the Gambinos were afraid that he might eventually rat them out, so with his life in danger, Francis went into protective custody in prison. In prison, he met Christian and took him under his wing. He taught Christian about his business and his clients, and told him that his mistake was staying in one place for too long. At some point, Ray was placed on the investigation into the Gambino family and met with Francis in prison. But Ray didn't take him seriously. For some reason, Francis is released from prison where he is no longer protected. The Gambinos catch him and torture him and kill him. Since Ray didn't take his interview with Francis seriously, he felt partially responsible for his death. Mary Beth asks why Christian was in prison in the first place. Ray tells her that Christian's mother died, and he and his father, who were both in full military dress, went to the funeral where they saw her new husband and their 2 young boys. The new husband tried to have them escorted out, and Christian responded violently. Christian's father tried to break it up and was shot and killed by accident. Ray tells her that later on, he sat in a surveillance truck for months outside the Gambino headquarters with nothing to show for it when one day, a man walks up and kills the 2 mafia guards standing outside. Ray runs inside rather than waiting for backup, to find multiple dead bodies inside, connecting to the opening scene, and the audio recording. He hears little Nicky upstairs begging for his life. Based on what he hears and what he sees, he believes that the killer was out for revenge for something deeply personal. Ray follows quietly and is about to enter the room, when Christian comes up behind with him a gun. Christian questions him, and Ray tells him that he's just a lowly Treasury agent. Christian asks if he's good at his job, which Ray tells him he's not. He says he's lousy at his job, but he has children and begs him not to kill him. Christian asks if he's a good father. Ray tells him that he knows he's bad at his job, but he's a great father and he always did right by his kids. Christian walks away. Ray tells this story to Mary Beth and then tells her that he planned to retire right away and give up the job, but on the way out the door, he gets a phone call. He picks it up and it's the voice, tipping him off to a human trafficking ring. He gets the credit for the case. He later gets another tip about drugs coming into the country, and he is again credited for the case, raising his profile and success at the agency. Mary Beth realizes that all of Ray's successes came from the voice. Ray then reminds her that he's retiring soon, so someone else needs to take the voice's calls. At first, Mary Beth refuses. Then the phone in Christian's house rings. She answers it, and the voice tells her to tell Ray to get his feet off the coffee table. Later, the assassin is setting up a team of henchmen at the home of Lamar, the CEO of Living Robotics, as he was behind the whole plot and killed his CFO and his sister to cover his tracks. Christian is able to get on the premises and kill the henchmen one by one, leaving only one man and the assassin, who has been monitoring the situation on surveillance cameras. As the assassin watches, he realizes that Christian is muttering nursery rhymes to himself, which the assassin recognizes. The last remaining henchman has a gun on Christian, but the assassin bursts in and tells him to stand down. The henchman ignores him and is about to pull the trigger when the assassin kills his own henchman. Christian stands up from behind his hiding place and greets the assassin, "Hello Braxton," revealing that the assassin is Christian's younger brother. The 2 men are surprised to see each other as they haven't seen each other in 10 years. As they talk, it becomes increasingly antagonistic. Braxton blames Christian for their father's death because Christian wanted to go to their mother's funeral, even though she abandoned their family. Christian lets Braxton take his anger out on him without fighting back. Lamar watches all this on the surveillance cameras incredulously. Braxton challenges Christian to fight back, asking him why he, Christian, didn't turn to him for support, and he's always been there for him his whole life. Christian does fight back and they finally end up on the floor, both tired. Lamar enters the room and asks what the hell is going on. Christian abruptly shoots Lamar, and then offhandedly apologizes to Braxton, saying he had to finish what he started. Christian gets up to leave and Braxton asks if they can meet again soon. Christian tells him that he'll find in about a week. He leaves a note for Dana in her hotel room, telling her that she deserves wow. He packs up his trailer and drives away. At another press conference at the Treasury Department, reporters ask about the scandal surrounding Living Robotics and the recent death of its CEO and how the Treasury Department was able to solve the case. The director calls up the agent in charge, Mary Beth, who follows Ray's cue and simply cites good old-fashioned investigative work. Dana is back in her apartment and repairing the damage caused by the fight, when she gets a mysterious package delivered to her. She opens it up to find a painting, seemingly expecting the Pollock she saw in Christian's trailer. Instead, it's the painting of dogs playing poker. She laughs, but when she notices the canvas seems to be loose, she pulls at it and realizes the Pollock is underneath the dogs. The final scene takes place at Harvard Neuroscience. Two parents are talking to the same psychologist from the beginning, telling him about their son. Their son wanders through the house. The psychologist tells the parents that the outside world will treat him like he's different or dumb, and then he will be burdened by the low expectations. Most of the other people in the house are children, but the boy wanders into the room of an adult woman who is screaming and shaking and smacking herself in the head. The boy's parents come in and apologize for their son wandering in. The woman calms down briefly as she looks at the boy and seems to smile at him. The psychologist tells them that the woman's name is Justine, one of their few full-time residents. She's unable to communicate verbally, but she can do so using her computer. Back in the room, Justine goes to her computer while the boy looks around the room. He sees a framed puzzle of Muhammad Ali on the wall. Justine sits down at her computer to show the boy how she communicates. She types something and the voice greets the boy. She smiles and a photo on the wall shows that she is the same young girl at the beginning of the film who connects with young Christian over the puzzle. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, so you can watch more movies like this. Thanks for watching.